Lenny. What's up, everyone? I am Corporal Church. This is Winnie Rose. Go get it. Oh, I'm sorry, girl. And this is Operation Defender. Welcome to another episode. In case you are new to the channel, which is highly likely. Oh, hey, look. Which is highly likely since this is literally day 2 of the channel's existence. We're all about things military. Like, we want to try and shed some light on stereotypes. Try to help out the veteran community in general. Try to maybe put some things as perspectives of veterans, whether it be politics, and I guess this has a broad range of, stuff we're kind of looking at, and we'll see kind of where this channel grows. But this channel will probably live or die based off of you guys, the viewer, and your involvement. The more questions you ask, the more, and topics you present, the more it lets me know what kinds of stuff you want to hear about. The more, we just kind of interact with each other, the more we can succeed in accomplishing what it is we want to accomplish and to talk, and you can give me all kinds of feedback, and that would be great. So for today's, before we get to that part, if you do want to support the channel and what I'm trying to do, whether you like me as a person or the idea we're going for or not, if you do appreciate at least what we're trying to do, subscribing would be a huge, huge help, as well as liking the video. But let's go on into it. So I guess this is kind of like myth number 2. The first myth we went after was, do folks who join the military have no other options? And today's myth is that enlisted folks are dumb as rocks. Yeah, there's a story to this. So it's kind of something I've noticed. Like, I was enlisted in the Marines from 2011 to 2015, and we would oftentimes feel like everyone above us assumed because we were enlisted we must be idiots, and that also include the civilian population. And then everyone's kind of assumed if you're an officer, you must be amazing, like walking on water kind of status. And we both know, if you're watching this video, that it's not necessarily the case in either enlisted or officer for those such extreme examples. In fact, just like every other job, we got dumbasses and we've got geniuses. Alright, so one form of a dumbass, maybe, in the military could be an ASVAB waiver. Now, depending upon the job, the ASVAB waiver could be someone who can score the bare minimum just to get into the military, and so the recruiting staff that individual went through had to be like, hey, we're gonna like who cares about your test score, we can waive it, and it doesn't matter. And then you have other folks who perhaps are trying to do something insane, like nuclear. There's like nuclear jobs in the Navy. Perhaps other branches. I just know there's nuclear ones in the Navy, and maybe you didn't score quite high enough for that job in the Navy. Perhaps you could get a waiver for that. I'm not sure. This whole video is based off of my experience and speculation as opposed to research facts, unlike the last video where I did lots of digging through the internet. So this is all conjecture, I suppose. And anyway, so we had one gal. She was a staff NCO, a staff sergeant, E6 at the time. And this is years ago, so she could very well be an E8 or an E9, who knows. But we ended up finding out that she had a straight up rocket, you know how people sometimes joke, like, oh yeah, you gotta be a rocket scientist, that's how complicated this is. Well, that's what she was. She was a straight up rocket scientist. If memory serves me correctly, she had a master's degree in nuclear physics. It was something like to the point you're like, damn, why are you here? Why didn't you at least become an officer? And her reason was she really wanted to do the job that we were doing, and unfortunately in that job you cannot be an officer. You can be a warrant officer after serving a full career. I think, I don't know, the average is probably 12 to 14 years. Don't quote me on that. But she was like, I just want to do the job, and since I couldn't be an officer and do it, I was like, whatever, I want to do the job, and so she was enlisted. And this guy was amazing. And then, of course, we also had the ASVAB waiver, and this particular person managed to, on a rifle qual, somehow not hear a ceasefire or notice that everyone else stopped shooting and fired a shot long after, I want to say probably a good 10-15 seconds after everyone else has stopped shooting. And those are kind of, if you've seen the video on the internet, Sergeant, I lost my grenade somewhere back there. That's the kind of folks we're talking about when people associate the enlisted side in particular as being dumbasses. And that's just not the case when you look at interviews, whether you look at historians that go and spend time with the Marines, especially the infantrymen. They tend to say things like, dang, those dudes are way smarter and way more capable than we would have assumed. And that leads me to believe that, yeah, the military is, in general is way smarter than perhaps you would like to believe inherently, just when you have like, oh look, there's a dumb boot. Boot means brand spanking new. And sometimes like, people would just kind of assume we're all dumb boots. That's just kind of an assumption I've been finding. One thing that impacted me, myself, that for inspiring this, we got two stories. One of them was I got to, it's either an interview or like a temporary assignment because I had to, like, I don't know, something got changed with my job was very temporary. I can't remember which one it was. But I show up and I get asked, hey, like, do you know the alphabet? It's like, ha ha ha, like, I'm very funny. I'm a Marine. Muscles are required. Intelligence not essential. Ha ha, knee slapper. You got me. And I'm like, no, like, really, do you know the alphabet? And then it got to the point where I actually had to start going A, B, C, D. Like, okay, you know the alphabet. And I believe a lot of that assumption came from me having been in the Marines before. Could have also been my current job I hold doesn't require me to have a bachelor's degree. So maybe there's some other assumptions. So I guess we gotta, put that out there. But it kind of felt like it had more to do with the whole Marine Corps thing. And the main inspiration for this video is, in case you missed it in some of the past ones, I am trying to go back into the Marines as an officer. And so I'm going through the whole candidate and like recruiting spiel again. And let me tell you, I gotta do a video about enlisted versus officer, but it's way better this time around. It's also much more challenging and not as easy to get back in or get in as an officer than it was enlisted. Like enlisted, you're like, hey, I got a heartbeat, and I can pass some tests. And like, yeah, you're good to go. You didn't do drugs, all right, great, come on over. Which is a little counterintuitive, I suppose, to my last video about the military must have been your only option, but I mean, it's not that hard to get into the military, which unfortunately I'm not sure how. Anyways, that's a different thing. Just watch the other video if you want to hear more about that. And anywho, back to being dumb as rocks. I'm getting on a tangent. This Russian mule is great. Any hoozles. And so I had this candidate I was working out with and trying to help out, and this individual says, well, you know, we don't have to do anything enlisted or like listen to them because they didn't go to college, right? So they obviously don't know what they're doing with their lives. I was like, whoa, hold it on there, killer. Like I had most of my bachelor's degree done while I was enlisted. Lots of people that I met while I was enlisted either had their bachelor's degree or dropped out of school, like in the last year or so. And dropping out had a ton of different reasons as to why that could be the case, and I was like, you got like calm down. Like, you know nothing. Like, the whole military world is vastly different, and it has been really hard adjusting to being out of it. It's been kind of intriguing to me with going back. Like, will it be easier going back after having adjusted quite a bit to not being in, or will it be almost like seamless? I'm like, oh, thank God I can kick all that pussyfooting around. Like, I don't know. I'm just curious to find out how that whole thing goes. So I stopped this guy in his tracks and he's like, dude, like, why are you just saying that they're, I was like, oh, well, because like they're not officers, right? So I was like, dude, you're 21 and you're talking about these dudes that have been potentially, that you will be like getting advice from, who've been doing their jobs for like 15, 20, but perhaps in some cases 30 years. Like, you gotta chill, man. Like, you can't just be assuming that you're better just because you're on the officer side. And then there's another incident later on where the same individual had been like told, like, hey man, like, you gotta shave before you come to our next pull function. This is from one of the staff NCOs of our particular recruiting district. And then later on, this guy says, like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. He's only a gunny. It's like, what? That guy's been in for like 15 years probably. And here's little old you at like 21 years old thinking you're all hot shit, being like, yeah, because I'm going to be an officer. You can suck my... And like, only the captain can tell me what I can do. It's like, oh my God, man. No, that's not how it works. Like, you go, oh, that's... Again, okay. Real quick. Alright. Anywho, that was the main inspiration for trying to do this video. It's because I know it's not backed by research, but something else you guys should be aware of. In at least the Marines, and I believe the other branches are the same way. I can't imagine why they wouldn't be the same way. But since this is not based off of research, at least in the Marines, when you are enlisted, since I'm not an officer, I don't know, maybe officers have similar things, but when you are enlisted, you have to go through PME, and I believe that stands for Professional Military Education, or think of just like basically professional development. One of the ways you pick up rank is you can take like these little courses like math for Marines, learning about certain types of warfare, taking extra classes on different weapons. Like there's I don't even know, there's probably hundreds of different classes you can do, and each class awards you some points. And so the more of these classes you take, the more points you get, and the more likely you are to get a promotion when it comes around for that next month, or whatever your case may be, depending upon your rank, which could be a whole other video, because how you get promoted is different between certain rank structures anyways. And so you have tons of this professional military development that you have to do. Something else that I, at the time, volunteered to do, that is now required, was in order for me to be eligible to be a sergeant, which I got selected for because of contract stuff. I ended up not getting promoted because I got out the day I was going to get promoted, and so I just didn't get promoted, so I'm corporal, not sergeant. Anyways, but to be eligible for that sergeant promotion, you had to go through what's called corporal's course. And you know what? I actually want to grab a picture from it real quick because I like it. There we go. Okay, so we got this corporal's course. Hopefully this is far enough back you all can see it right there. Corporal's course. It's in Pendleton by the Staff and CO Academy. Oh, there it is. Non-Commissioned Officers Academy. This is one of those professional development things that you can do. Basically, it's a leadership school. You learn more details about, like, oh, when you gotta move, my baby. You learn more details about what you can or can't do when you're in charge, because you're basically in charge of people's lives, like whether you're on or off duty, you have a lot of responsibility. You learn just a whole bunch of stuff that have really helped me out since getting out. I can't say I specifically like, yeah, at that time I learned that thing that's really helped me out now, but things just kind of tie in together. And every rank to progress to the next one has something like it. So if you're a sergeant, you take a sergeant's course, which lets you be a staff sergeant. And when I took it from this picture here, you can see I did it in person. At the time, in 2014, this is double check here. Yep, 2014, August of 2014. You didn't have to take it in person. You could do it online or in person. You just had to do one or the other. I did both. I wanted to go in person, and I was told I had to do it online, and then I gave up leave, and then I went in person. Point is, there's tons of education, extra stuff you have to do. And then something else the military does that perhaps you guys aren't aware of is they have a cutoff. So like once you're a certain rank for so long, you either have to have gotten promoted or you get kicked out. I believe at the time I was in, sergeant was something like you had to be a sergeant by 10 years maybe, or maybe it was staff sergeant, I don't know. But there was like a 10-year thing. And so you have to be able to go to these classes, build yourself up, and really work on your own intelligence and your ability to kind of figure stuff out and lead. I know now there are talks from the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps about making it where all staff NCOs, so staff non-commissioned officers, I was a non-commissioned officer, so just add on a word, staff non-commissioned officers, have to have degrees. I think the commandant was going for bachelor's degrees. I'm not sure if an associate's would count. And so the point I'm trying to get at is that just because you're enlisted does not mean you're dumb as rocks. However, if you are an enlisted person watching and you are maybe one of those folks that fired on the firing line when everyone else is done, maybe you should do some self-reflection and take some college classes. Use that TA and go to school for free while you're active. Do what I did. Save yourself some GI Bill money. And then if you're an officer that happens to be watching, whilst I am sure you are fully capable and completely able to do your job, I wouldn't go so far as just to assume that you're automatically, as a human being, better than everyone else. Just because your rank says everyone else has to listen to you does not necessarily mean that you are actually better than everyone else. One of the greatest things I learned, he's a warrant officer now, from a staff NCO I had that was in charge of me was like, if you ever have to use your rank, like do something because of blah, then okay, do it because I outrank you. Then you clearly are not actually the one in charge, and you probably got to evaluate how you are doing things. And so it's because you're an officer. If you just solely rely, like Major Burns in MASH. By the way, watch MASH. It's hilarious. It's on Hulu. It's from the Cold War time frame, and it hits on a lot of like common sense and, well, if it makes sense, and that's not how the military is going to do it, kinds of stuff. It's pretty funny to me from that regard. A little degrading, but it's also outdated. It's like, I don't know, 70s, 80s, something like that when they made it. But any hoozles, don't assume that you are not the dumbass or that you are the genius. Just do your best. Try to put work into yourself, get better, and if you are someone that just wants to see an enlisted person and just assume that they're an idiot, then maybe consider your life, taking those words, take thought of the words I'm saying about how all the like classes we have to take when you're enlisted, how lots of folks either have degrees or at least went to college for some period of time. While yes, there are dumbasses, everyone everywhere has dumbasses, so I wouldn't be so quick to just assume the military has more of them because of stereotypes. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry my co-host Winnie Beatrice Rose didn't make more of a presence in our video, but I appreciate that you guys watched. Again, if you enjoy the video and the things I'm trying to do, this will grow, this will get better. I have a feeling I'm not at 100%, like maybe in a couple of months quality will be way up, who knows. And just subscribe and help me out and slap the like button. Leave comments down below because I'll get more viewership to more people. And if you would like, if you are a veteran or a service member, join Operation Defender, the Discord. If you are not a veteran or a service member, but you would like to have some sort of a Discord community kind of a thing, let me know. And if we get enough people, maybe we'll have just like a YouTube channel Discord as opposed to what I currently have set up. If you're wondering why the Discord is currently set up the way it is, watch my video that introduces myself and what we're doing to you guys. It's like the very first video. I don't know, it's pretty obvious. It's got my picture on the thumbnail. It's like, welcome to Operation Defender introduction video, I think is what I called it. Anyways, guys, I am Corporal Church, coming at you from Operation Defender. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.